We'll continue our review with inside the floating review exercises folder with the horizontal menu exercises. This one we'll do floats for the top, and then I'll show you a display inline, or you can try it yourself if you want. Let's see what the HTML file looks like in the browser. Currently 2 lists. Pop open the inspector just as we get going. So this one we will be floating the LIs, and we will be floating them left. I know we're going to be floating the left because I want this first one to be the first one on the left. If I float them all right, it will reverse the order of the list. Sometimes that's what you want, sometimes, but most of the time you don't. So here we go. Let's float those LIs. LI, float left. Let's see if there's any way to, this is probably going to affect both of them. Yeah, everything. So let me use a contextual selector to keep myself a little safer. So this is nav primary, and this UL is also class nav, but it's nav-secondary. So these are classes, not IDs. This is something that's very commonly it's commonly seen in WordPress, where they use class and ID quite a bit. So if I want to confine this to LIs inside the nav primary, I will add that to the left, and make sure you leave a space in here. Save and refresh, and here we got it. We'll figure out what to do with this later. Maybe I'll take this moment to take the bullets off the list. We'll confine this to the nav primary as well. List style. Save and refresh. I feel like that should have done something, but it didn't. That's a bit weird. This is a good one. So this one is not catching my rule. Why not? Because nav-primary is on the UL, not a tag inside the UL. So here I need to fix my rule a little bit to say a UL that has the nav primary class on it. There is no space in here between the L and the dot because I'm talking about the same tag. I'm talking about a UL tag that has a class of nav-primary. Save and refresh. There we are. Okay, now I'm having a similar problem that I had before. I think it would be good to get this horizontal rule to not be over here on the right. I'd love to clear this whole UL, and so I don't think I had it in the floating clearing. Maybe I did. Style.css. Oh, I did. I'm going to grab that same clear fix, which clears it on both sides. So the important part here, clearing on both sides, and then it changes the following invisible element to a table display, which will take up a block of layout, thus making it impossible for anything to float to the side of my UL. So let me put this rule up here. And that means I'll need to apply a clear fix to the UL, which will happen in the HTML file. I'm dealing with the nav primary, and there's already a class here. So I need to add it inside the existing class attribute using a space. Clear fix. Save, refresh. There. Okay, now we just have some beautifying, basically. Reminding us, oops, wrong one, this one. Close this up. So it looks like a gray border around it. If I wanted to color pick the exact color, I could. It looks like it might be 6s. Let me grab the color picker, color palette, and zoom in a bit. Here, can I zoom in? Let's see if I can find it. Here. C's. C. Yep, that looks like a web safe color. 3 C's will do it. So it's got a border. the border is around this A tag. So the border could be on the LI, the border could be on the A, but regardless, if I put the border around the whole A tag, then this space has to be padding inside it. So we'll try it a couple different ways so we can see the differences. I'm going to put all of this stuff on the A for now, and then we'll see if I might need to move this out to the LI instead. So this is again still in the nav primary. Actually, now that I look at the picture, it looks like they're both the same. So this could be all A's. It doesn't have to just be the primary nav. So this is a generic rule for all A tags. And we'll say that the border color, the border is 1 pixel solid and it's a light gray color. Save and refresh. That gives me this. And then I'm going to have to increase the padding. I'm going to start with 1em and see how it looks. Padding 1em. Save and refresh. It's actually pretty close. Now it looks like I'm going to need increase the space between these items. To how much? Probably an M of margin. It looks like an M of margin around this A. Could be. Could also be on the LI. We don't really know. We can't really tell here. But since I'm working with an A rule, let's see the effect here. Refresh. That's not exactly what I meant. Weird. It's collapsing my margins in between. This is probably because A's are inline elements. I don't know for sure, but it's a guess that I have based on the behavior I'm seeing. I could also put this on the LIs. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to go back and apply it to the A. So I could say, okay, this is not looking the way I want. Let me apply it to its surrounding LI tag instead. Paste, save, refresh. So that's more like what I was thinking. So my hypothesis previously was that the reason it was collapsing these margins and making them overlap, even though I said the margins should be 1em, was because A is an inline element, and so the browser was having some trouble figuring out what it should be doing with the inline element. So let's see if I was right. I'm going to take this off for a sec, put it back on the A, and then say, I know this is an inline element, but let me just say it's a block level element. So it behaves more like a block level element. Save and refresh. Yep. So that's exactly why the overlap was happening. So you can get a little bit more, you can start guessing at that. If you're trying to apply padding, margin, width, and height to something like an A tag, or a span maybe, that's an inline element, you may have something in the back of your mind that just makes you explore whether it may be a block issue. And if so, you might need to add display block to fool, well, not really fool, but to just switch the A to being a block level element instead of behaving like its default inline element. In the next video, I'll do the second list with inline block, so you can see what that technique would look like.